Welcome to the third edition of Göteborg Aero Show at Säve depot just north of Gothenburg in Sweden. This year is special as it is 100 years since the very first flight with a Swedish pilot in Sweden in 1910. All over Sweden, many aviation-related events are being arranged to celebrate this. And the Göteborg Aero Show is of course also participating by arranging perhaps one of the best air shows in Sweden. Apart from some of Sweden's most well-known pilots, this year's edition includes 3 international air display teams. How about one of the leading air display teams in the world, the Italian Frecce Tricolori? The team celebrates its 50-year jubilee of air displays. And the Danish Air Force celebrates 60 years as an independent air force. At the air show, their display will include the F16 Fighting Falcon from the fighter wing Skrydstrup, located at the southern part of Jutland in Denmark. And from the Swiss Air Force, the PC-7 air display team, consisting of 9 of the domestically produced aircraft, the Pilotus PC-7, which is used as a military trainer. The aircraft has the classical cockpit layout, where the pupil and instructor are located in tandem. The aeroplane has had great success internationally, having been marketed and sold as a trainer to over 20 countries.
Welcome to Sweden.
Thank you. Hey!
Most of the participating crews arrived already on Friday, during which time they spent getting themselves acquainted with the surrounding areas and preparing the aeroplanes. The Frecce Tricolori are located at the Rivolto Air Force Base in the northern part of Italy. The team is considered to be the largest air display team in the world. It consists of 90 crew members and 10 aeroplanes, of which one is kept as a spare aircraft. The aircraft they're flying is the Italian military trainer Aerobatic. One of the Swedish Air Force's 8 cargo aircrafts, the TP-84, the C-130 Hercules, arrives from its home base, the Skaraborgs Wing F7. The aircraft type was developed in the United States in the late 50s, and the Swedish Air Force runs the world's oldest C-130. The model has been in service in Sweden since 1965. Morning briefing on Saturday begins with a 1 minute of silence for the recently deceased pilot Bertil Gerhardt, who was planned to participate at the Göteborg Aero Show with the Spitfire Mk18. Bertil Gerhardt died in a plane crash a few weeks before the air show.
Agree that we will start with having 1 minute of silence for Bertil Gerhardt. And it's starting right now.
I just left the morning briefing at which we went through all the details we learned from yesterday, Friday. We also discussed issues that I wished to be implemented during the air show. We went through and discussed the updates from the originally set plans concerning the display area and other rearrangements which the pilots need to know about in order for them to go through with their performance in a safe and secure manner. I've planned this air show for over 1 year now. Some of these contacts have taken me almost 2 years. The Frecce Tricolori I contacted about 1.5 years ago. You start by contacting them, and during that time you build up and establish a kind of personal relationship with the team. And when the time is right and they feel they can trust and rely on our organisation locally, then they come. My name is Lars Berends and I represent the Danish Air Force Flyveskola Aviation School. We are here with the air display team Baby Blue. Flyveskolan is situated at our home base in Karup in Denmark. At the Flyveskolan we have 18 Saab T-17 aeroplanes. This year we've been flying with them for 200,000 hours. Furthermore, this year we celebrate our 35th year jubilee at the same time as you in Sweden celebrate 100 years. It is with great joy for us on this weekend to come back to you in Sweden with the Saab T-17 and to tell you that we have flown with the model for some time now. We're very happy with it and we will never let them go. We want to fly it for many years yet. It's a really nice plane to fly. At the aviation school we use it for pilot screening and during the training of young pilots. Sometimes the aviation school instructors have a little fun and fly formation, which we love doing. We fly at different air shows during the season with a team which we call Baby Blue. The team consists of 4 Saab T-17 aircraft. We're no world champions in display flying, of course, which is not the main goal for us. But the most important work for us is to discover and teach flying skills to new young pilots. Flying with the display team is something we do outside our normal activities to maintain our flying skills. And of course, to show the aeroplane. The T-17 is a fun but rather difficult aeroplane to fly in formation due to the relatively weak engine, a modest 200 horsepower. When you're flying at the rear in a formation, it's a constant struggle to keep up with the other planes. We're very happy to be here at the Göteborg Aero Show and to show the aeroplane. We still have the T-17s and we're taking good care of them. The Baby Blue team was founded as a result of the aviation school's annual tradition that on the 4th of May, on the day of the Danish liberation from the Germans after World War II, to fly in formation with 4 of the Saab T-17s at sunset. The Swedish-built aeroplane was developed in the late 60s as an education and training aircraft for the private as well as the military market. Both the Danish and Norwegian Air Force chose the aeroplane as a trainer. Oddly enough, Sweden did not. It chose the English Scottish Aviation Bulldog instead. Its Swedish military designation was the SK61. The 4 pilots in the team have all logged many thousands of flight hours, divided between combat aeroplanes, trainers, helicopters and commercial aircraft. Hello, my name is Niklas Strandberg and I fly this SK61 Bulldog. The aeroplane is one of many Swedish military historical aircraft run by the association Swedish Air Force Historic Flight. I'm one of the pilots and technicians who work with the propeller aeroplanes. We've just attached a smoke generator, which will of course give the display a more visual effect. My display today is built on rather basic manoeuvres like rolls, half rolls, barrel rolls, loopings, etc. No spin manoeuvres or quick rolls yet. We have many aircraft in the Swedish Air Force Historic Flight fleet, and I feel that the SK61 Bulldog is a nice contribution to any air show on which we have participated this year.
Jag tror att det är ett bra tillskott i de flesta flyguppvisningar som vi brukar faktiskt vara med på här i Sverige.
The SK61 Bulldog replaced the Swedish-developed SK50 Saab Sapphire in the 70s as a basic trainer in the Swedish Air Force at the Krigsflygskolan Wing 5 at Ljungbyhed. As such, it was used until the late 1990s, when it was decided that Swedish fighter pilots should go directly to the jet aeroplane, the SK60, the Saab 105. The Bulldog was then adopted by the Lund University School of Aviation at Ljungby Head, who used it as a trainer in the training of commercial aeroplane pilots. Coming up, the guy who turns the term to fly straight head over heels. Janne Emilsson here. I come from Malå in Sweden. I fly aerobatic with my own Su-29, which is considered to be one of the best two-seaters in the world. I can tell you a little about the aeroplane. It is Russian-built, constructed to be used only as an aerobatic plane. The engine has 9 cylinders generating 400 horsepower. The aeroplane is built to take on plus minus 12 Gs, having a roll rate of about 400 degrees per second. It is an awesome, fun aeroplane to fly. Unlike many air displays, Janne flies in harmony with his own music, the same as the spectators here. He can listen to the music in his own headset. He also gives the public a spectacular air display with up to 70 rolls. Jan learned the basics of aerobatic flying during training with the Russian national aerobatic team. Over the years he's become both Nordic as well as Swedish champion in aerobatics. The competition part of the flying has been put on hold, but the lifelong passion for the sport as well as the breathtaking G-forces have not diminished. The kind of flying Janne puts on for the public is adjusted to show, thus displaying a smoother kind of aerobatics. Additionally, he uses smoke as an extra effect. Such smoke is not used during aerobatic competitions. The Su-29 is the two-seater version of the competition aeroplane Su-26, which was developed during the mid-80s to become the superior aerobatic aeroplane of its time in all aerobatic competition categories. My name is Jan Bergman and I normally work at the helicopter wing in Linköping. I work as a flight instructor on this helicopter, the HKP-15. The helicopter is, as you can see, a very modern one. It comes from Italy and the commercial name of the helicopter is Augusti 109. It is equipped with a glass cockpit, which means that I have 3 large computer screens on which I get all relevant information presented to me during flight. It's a beautiful helicopter in the air. It's fast. I can fly at speeds of up to 260 to 280 kilometers per hour. If the helicopter is fully fueled, I can fly with it up to 1,000 kilometers. The HKP-15 is the Swedish Air Force's latest helicopter system. It is planned to be used together with the almost as new HKP-14 and the workhorse HKP-10 as the backbone of the future military helicopter fleet. The HKP-15 is used as a trainer and for training ground and sea operations. The HKP-15 can be adjusted and/or equipped depending on the missions at hand, both internationally or domestically. A basically equipped helicopter can accommodate 2 pilots and 6 passengers. It is a versatile helicopter and can easily be prepared for a vast range of missions depending on the equipment. Such missions can, for instance, be transportation, for which the HKP-15 is equipped with weapons and grappling rope. When interacting with the Corvette Visby during underwater reconnaissance, thermal imaging camera and computer links were installed. For sonar buoys or on SAR search and rescue missions, the HKP-15 is equipped with a winch, searchlights and a stretcher. He's coming in for landing. I wonder how he feels about his performance today. What about your flying today, Janne? It went as well as expected. The Swedish Air Force Historic Flight participated with their entire fleet of aeroplanes. They displayed a cavalcade of historical jet aircraft. First up, the Saab J29, or flygande tunnan, the flying barrel as it was called due to the shape of its body. The aeroplane flew for the first time in 1948. Due to its swept wings and relatively strong engine, it soon became one of the best jet fighters in the world. I wonder what the pilot Ulla Naren thought of his flying today in the dismal skies over Säve airport. I think we should pass the question over to Bertil Malmström from Team M. Hi Ulla, how was the flying today in this poor weather? Well, I was a bit unlucky today. If I could have started 10 minutes earlier, or perhaps now, the chance of doing the high altitude show would have been greater, of course. But then again, you can only do your best and fly at a lower altitude. But yes, the flying becomes somewhat turn and burn at low altitude. Here you see the Swedish Air Force Historic Flight's J28, or the de Havilland Vampire, which became the Swedish Air Force's ticket to the modern jet era. And now it's time for some Biggles nostalgia. In the air, the old legendary English de Havilland Tiger Moth in formation. The leader of the formation is Per Cederqvist, who has gathered a few moth buddies. And a cat among the pigeons, the American Boeing Stearman with Kenneth Earn at the controls. The Tiger Moth was originally built to be a civilian aircraft in the beginning of the 1930s. However, it soon became the most popular military basic trainer. Over 9,000 planes were built and used by 25 nations' air forces, including the Swedish. In Sweden, many different painting schemes and markings were utilised on the Tiger Moth. Here you can see 2 examples from that time. The silver-coloured one from 1932 and the red and yellow one from 1935. Björn Svedvelt from Svedinos Bil and Flygmuseum in Ugglarp, north of Halmstad, is flying his civilian-registered Tiger Moth. The Norwegian Anders Hankensen performs a nowadays rarely seen manoeuvre, the falling leaf. The manoeuvre is done by forcing a series of incipient spins to the right and left. His Tiger Moth is based at Kjelle Airport in Norway, and the paint scheme is derived from the Tiger Moths in Norway operating between 1937 and 1940. The Boeing Stearman was used during World War II in the United States as a basic trainer, just as the Tiger Moth was in Europe. And now we go still further back in history to the beginning of the aviation history. Here you see one of the world's oldest airworthy aeroplanes, Michael Carson and his Blériot 11, or the Tullin A, as the Swedish licence-built aeroplanes were called. No other aeroplane in history has had such importance for the development and evolution of aviation in the world. The Blériot 11 was the first aeroplane to fly in many countries in the world, and as such started the aviation era for many countries. After the Frenchman Louis Blériot's flight over the English Channel in 1909, which proved that the aeroplane had the potential of doing more than just short jumps from the ground, the evolution of aviation in Europe became enormous. Blériot 11 was a huge success, spreading to many countries in the world in which it was licensed to build. It's always a joy to watch Michael fly this old aeroplane. He tends to be a little bolder each time we watch him fly. The Blériot 11 does not come with any aileron. Instead, the rear part of the wings are flexible, and just like on a bird, the wings are flexed when turning. This is one of two Blériot 11 built and flown by Michael Carson. Both are rebuilt original aeroplanes. On top of that, Michael has also rebuilt the Technical Museum's Blériot 11, with which he flew during the Stockholm Flygfestival in the summer of 2010 during the celebration of the centenary of Swedish aviation. Like a modern air baron recreating contemporary history, Michael has made a reputation as a skilled pilot and builder of historical aeroplanes. Here you see him flying with his first aeroplane project, the Swedish-built Tummelisa, or as it was called in the Swedish military, Trainer 1. It was used by the Swedish military between 1926 and 1935. Michael's Tummelisa is a reproduction. However, many of the parts in the aeroplane Michael has restored himself. And when parts were missing, he built them from scratch, like the wheels, the tyres and the propeller. Originally, the Tummelisa was named Thumbelina, after the children's story by H.C. Andersen. This was due to the small size of the aeroplane. However, the pilots soon changed the name to Tummelisa due to the aeroplane's tendency to roll over onto its back, Lisa being a girl's name. The Tummelisa has a 9-cylinder Lerone 80 horsepower rotary Tullin A engine. The inspiration for the construction was the successful World War I French fighter Nieuport.
Och precis som jag berättade tidigare idag så är